guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial for you guys today. I'm just going to be doing an easy little get ready for the day, little cute little makeup style that you can do when you're getting ready. Guys, so first I am going to start off by going in with my e.l.f. face primer. This is usually the product I use. I have very oily skin, so this is usually a good product that I use that helps my face, especially for oil skin. So I'm just going to blend this out. And then usually on my nose, it tends to get a lot more oily, so I'll go in with a eyeshadow primer and I'll go ahead and blend that onto my nose just to keep that from getting oily. Alright guys, so now that we've finished blending that, I go in with this e.l.f. eyeshadow primer, and usually I blend this throughout my nose. This makes it so the oiliness doesn't stay on my nose throughout the day with my makeup. Usually it will leak through and cause my makeup to look a lot worse than what it did from when I first did it. So I use this, once again, this e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. So usually I go in with this little brush here and I just dab this along my nose and blend it. Alrighty, so now that that's blended, usually the first thing I do is I start off by doing my eyebrows. So today I'm using a Wet n Wild eyebrow pencil. This is a dark brown that I use for my eyebrows. So I'm just going to go and fill in my eyebrows with this. Alrighty guys, so I'm just gonna continue filling in my eyebrow. Usually I use the phone camera for a mirror, but sometimes I go in with this little mirror, which makes it a lot easier for me to see my eyebrow. And usually after I fill it, I just go and blend it. Go ahead. Alright, so now that my eyebrows are done, I usually go in with my e.l.f. concealer, and I use a kind of a thin, skinny tip brush. And this is the brush that I use to go in and blend out my concealer. Start off with a little bit. Alright, so I go in like that and then blend it out. I usually don't put eyeshadow primer on my eyelids just because my eyelids don't tend to get that oily. It's mainly just my nose, so that's honestly all I use my eyeshadow primer for, is just my nose. So finish blending this out. Then I usually go in and do the under bottom of this side too. Alright, so usually I like to get this all blended out because it tends to dry. This e.l.f. brand, it tends to actually dry out really quick when you are trying to get this on your face and get it blended. There have been times when I've let this sit and by mistake it dried way too quick and I had to go back and redo it. So I do not want that to happen to you guys. Depending on which brand you use, sometimes there might be other brands that don't dry as quick, so I guess it all depends on which brand you decide to go with your concealer. I'm gonna go in and do the top part of my eyebrows. Usually with this, I like to use the mirror just because it's easier to see the top. Alright, so usually guys with this, I first get it all on there and then I go in and start blending it out. Don't know if you guys can see the angle really well. There we go. So I'll just go ahead and keep blending this out. Usually I blend the tips too here. And then after I do my eyebrows, I will go in and get my concealer on my face. Then we'll just blend the rest of that out. Yeah, so after we do the top part of our eyes, top part of our eyebrows, we are gonna go in and blend out the concealer onto our face. Alright, so we're just gonna finish blending this on this side now. Make sure we get the tips. Alright, now that that's all blended out, we will go in and we will put this on our heads. Usually I don't do it at the start just because I don't really need it until I get to doing my foundation. So usually I hold off on wearing this until then. So we'll get that on like so. Guys, so we are on to the next. So I showed you guys my e.l.f. concealer earlier. So I start by blending this out into my face and into my nose area too. Just because later I'll go back in with a darker concealer and blend that out. And usually with this, I love to use my beauty blender. I just feel like this is a lot easier to blend out. So I'll just go in, close my eye usually, just to make sure I get all the cracks and crevices on my face, because I want to make sure I have a smooth base and my makeup is even. Alright guys, this one braid likes to hang forward. Maybe we'll put another one forward. Alrighty, so now that that's done, I will go in with my Fit Me Maybelline. This is my foundation that I love to use. This is just easy for me. I feel like this is a good brand and I've always used this since I was young. So this is what I will use. So I'll just go and start blending on the lower half of my face. And this is a little bit darker than my foundation just because my foundation, or my concealer is a little bit light. So I do put this darker foundation just to balance out the color. So we'll go ahead and get that on and blend it out. Alright. And we'll just blend it with the, usually I like to just go in and do that with the beauty blender and blend it out. Alrighty, so now that that's done, I will now go in with my Fit Me darker concealer, and this is just to give my face some contour and give some jaw lines and everything. So we'll go in like so, and then I'll also use that same beauty blender and just go up and down and blend that out along right where the concealer hits my foundation. Blend that out. All right, and now we'll blend the other side so you guys can see. All right, now that that's done, I will take that darker concealer and we will go ahead and contour a little bit on my nose just to give it a little bit of depth. All right, usually I just put a few dots. And then I like to go in with this little tiny brush here, and I blend that around my nose to make the contour. To give my nose some depth. And then usually after I do that, I'll just make sure that I blend it out and everything, so it's not too much right there on that corner. And then I like to just go through and kind of go across like that. And now that is done. Guys, now that I have finished that, I'm going to go ahead and put some of this mascara on. Usually I go in with the Voluminous Original brand. I'm currently out of the black color, but I do love this maroon, so I'm going to go in and put this maroon. All right. Ooh, got it in my eye a little bit there. Now I'll go ahead and do this side. All right. I usually don't do the bottom. I don't really do the bottom a lot. Sometimes I do. I guess today's just not a do bottom today. Usually I go in with this blender. It's one of the same brands as that one. This one I just keep in a container because I use this one to put powder on my face. As you guys know, before I told you I have a very oily face, so I have to powder my face to keep it from getting very oily. So we'll go in and powder. And then I usually just go in through the bottom too and do along the jawline. And then I put a little bit in the middle of my nose and then on my forehead. Then we'll let that set and then we'll go and blend it all out. So now that the powder is set, I go in with this thick brush here and I just blend it all out. Alright guys, that is all done. Now the last thing I tend to do is I will go ahead and go in with my Glam Light palette, and I will put some, usually I tend to mix this, it's almost like a rose gold and then this very light silver. I'll mix those and then put a little bit of highlight on my nose. I'll put some on my cheeks, and then I'll also do some as like a little bit of eyeliner. So we'll just go ahead and do that real quick. And go like that from the bottom and up. Alright. And then do a little more. Alright guys, that's done. And then we'll go in the corners of the eyes and put a little bit of highlight there in the inner corner. Alright, and then after that, usually I'll go in and just blend out one more time. Alright guys, and usually I like to blend out just one more time just to make sure that everything is fully blended and the powder is fully set to my face. And then after that, I'll go in and put a highlight on my cheeks and my nose. We'll blend those two colors that I showed you guys. And we'll go ahead and highlight those cheeks up. That'll be perfect. We'll go ahead and do the same to this side. Alright, now that that's done, we'll go ahead and highlight my nose. And then for a last little touch that I absolutely love and I've always done, I love to just put a little bit of highlight on the bridge of my nose and then on the top and underside of my eyebrow. So we'll do that. Alright guys, and just like that, my makeup is all done. Thank you guys for joining me in my video. Stay tuned for another makeup video. We'll go ahead and take this off. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and please like my videos. Thank you.